Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into another edition of Slo Ur Roll. I am Dominic Lorenzano, back in studio with a guest today, Brian Salem, for the football season. I think it's the first time you've been in for the football season.
Return of the Super Townie.
I mean, I think you and me did do a preview.
Not for this season.
Oh, we didn't?
I don't think we did.
Oh, I thought we did. Maybe we didn't.
I have not been on here in I don't know how long.
Oh, wow. Okay. I thought we did. Maybe we didn't. But anyway, so what are we, 4 weeks into the NFL season? About to start the 5th week here on Sunday. Some surprises, some things coming. Drake May had his coming out party after what was sort of a disappointing start for Pats fans, I assume. I'm pretty sure they're back on the we're going to be really good this year. We'll see. It was the Panthers guys, but hey, there was a lot to like.
I have a great point to piggyback off of that.
Yeah, so Red Sox Yankees started last night. Sox taking game 1. We'll talk about everything that happened there. Looking forward to tonight's matchup and anything beyond that. And some more football talk. Panic meter on 3 teams that were supposed to be really good, having tough starts or having something tough that has happened to them recently. And yeah, so with that, let me start out with... listen, I've been kind of a Lamar hater. I know this. And I know it's never personal. It's just, coming out of college, I didn't see it. He got good enough that I was like, all right, fine. But then long enough, it's gone by, and it's like, listen, if we're going to put him in the Mahomes, Allen, Burrow conversation, then, we need to be honest about some stuff, and he needs to be better in the playoffs. And I don't believe he belongs in that tier. I think he's one tier below. And honestly, we might do a game at some point later this year where you're going to give me a quarterback name and just telling me it's a playoff game, and I would decide if I would take them over Lamar. I know for a fact I would take Matthew Stafford in a playoff game over Lamar Jackson. There's no doubt about that. But we have to be honest about Lamar. He has lived a pretty charmed life in the NFL. He gets drafted by the Baltimore Ravens, one of the most well-run, steadfast organizations in the entire sport for, 2-3 decades.
Just about.
He has largely always been gifted with a top-tier defense. I believe his defense has been ranked in the top 5 or top 3 multiple times so far in his career. He almost virtually has never had a bad defense. And we started last year with a poor defense because of injuries, but they got it going by the end of the year. He usually always has some sort of a run game, a decent offensive line. And the only thing anyone has ever been tried to say he doesn't have is great wide receivers. Well, la-dee-da. Nobody gets everything in the NFL. If you have the other 2 or 3 things, you should be just fine.
Especially when you're as gifted and talented as Lamar is.
Yes. Well, Josh Allen has had about an average to below average defense the last 3 seasons. Joe Burrow has never been gifted an offensive line or a particularly good defense. And Patrick Mahomes has been dealing with below average offensive weapons for, I would say, the better part of the last 2.5 seasons. Lamar has largely been gifted everything. And then this is the first year where that is starting to crack. And you can see the Ravens are injured and just not as effective also defensively in a couple of spots. And it's showing. They're near the bottom of the league in defense right now, almost all defensive categories. And they're 1-3 now. Now, I'm not saying Lamar should be 4-0. That is not what I am saying. But if you're going to be in this Allen, Burrow era, here, you got to be able to win some of these games on your own. And he consistently will put up great numbers against the worst teams in the NFL. And he does make good work of the NFC because the NFC does not see him often. But anytime he faces the best teams in the AFC, he almost always falls short. 2 turnovers against the Bills in the playoffs last year. I believe he had 2 turnovers in the Chiefs game last week. They get curb stomped by a Chiefs team that came into that game 1-3. Now, I know they got Xavier Worthy back, so they were a little bit better than the last couple of games. But there was no excuse for Lamar to play that poorly again and for them to get blown out the way he did. I think we need to be honest about Lamar. He is a truly gifted athlete, an amazing player. He can put up great stats. He can give you a fits for 1 or 2 games. But stay in your rush lanes, make him play quarterback, and which, if you have a very talented defense, the best teams are able to do this. He usually is just not as effective as some of the best guys, and he continues to fall short in the playoffs. And I have said this before, I will say it again, I have a hard time ever seeing Lamar Jackson hoist a Super Bowl trophy because the history of this league tells me that players like him are not usually Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. Now, maybe he'll be on a team that's so gifted that it won't matter, but so far, I mean, the same way we used to talk about Peyton Manning sometimes in the playoffs didn't live up to it. Clayton Kershaw was not a great playoff performer. Lamar, it's hard to argue at this point. Consistently, in the biggest games, I'll take a lot of other guys over Lamar Jackson. And even in his regular season, he has been largely gifted a pretty amazing NFL life so far. That's not the norm for most quarterbacks. So Lamar's got some things to prove. They got some things to clean up, and I'm not really sure they're going to be able to. We'll talk about that in the panic meter later on. But those are just my thoughts after, once again, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens fall short to the Kansas City Chiefs in a big game.
Now, I believe I said this to you and Jesse last season in regards to Lamar Jackson. I would 1,000% take him, but I don't think I'm going to choose him. You know what I mean? Like, if you give me a list of quarterbacks you're going to choose, stop when you get to Jackson.
Yeah.
You could throw 6 or 7 guys on that list.
I definitely could.
Easy. Stafford, maybe even Rodgers at this point. He's, a statue back there, but like, I was 15th row 2 weeks ago to watch the Patriots put the ball on the ground or give it back to Pittsburgh 5 times. Rodgers is still a bad dude back there when he wants to be. I understand all those points on Lamar, and largely I agree with them. But the one thing I will say in his defense is this is not just becoming, it's been a trend in Baltimore for quite some time now. The leads they cough up and the games that they give away. A lot of that has to be put on Harbaugh's shoulders, right?
Yeah.
That's as much about the players performing as it is the position that you put them in.
True.
And the way that you call a game and the way you manage a game and this and that and the other thing. So, do I put it all on his shoulders? No. Do I put most of it on him? Yes, because at the end of the day, he is the one that really, the whole team probably rallies around.
Well, it's also just like Allen loses to the Chiefs a lot too, but he always plays very well. Lamar's had 2 turnovers in almost every single one of these playoff games I'm talking about.
True.
Like multiple turnovers.
This is true.
He got them behind the 8 ball in the Buffalo game.
Now, the other thing I'll say in his defense, right, like to your point about Manning, like think about all the huge playoff blunders he had, but there are cases to be made for a lot of guys. Like to cross sports, David Price.
Yeah.
Tremendous regular season performer. Absolute dog water in the playoffs. But the guy was just so goddamn good, you had to kind of say,
except his final stint with the Red Sox.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
Every dog has his day.
Yes.
Like, that does happen for a lot of guys.
It does.
And then there are guys like Rodgers, where, his 3rd season as a starter, they go to the Super Bowl, and he has an all-time historic run, right? He's been in a lot of big games since then, and he's crapped himself a lot.
He has. I mean, I've said that about Aaron, though. I've made the argument that I think Big Ben historically has had a better career than Aaron Rodgers because of that. But that's neither here nor there. So I'm pretty consistent on the playoff performing one. And the first couple of times, listen, it's hard. The playoffs are hard. I need some sample size. But what is he falling now to 1 in 5 against the Chiefs? And I said, 2 turnovers in all these playoff games.
When the optics are the same every time you go out, then it's
exactly. And again, listen, wildly talented, amazing watch, regular season wise, one of the best quarterbacks in the game. But I'm getting to a point where I'm going to back my take about a year or 2 ago, which is I'm not sure if he'll ever be a Super Bowl winning player. Just the way he plays. I'm not sure. And listen, he has gotten much better as a passer. Definitely has. Is he ever going to be good enough from the pocket for me to think that he's going to do the things that Mahomes or Allen or Stafford can do in the playoffs, though? I kind of doubt it. And then given that, what's the runway? What has he got, 4 more years? Maybe to be this elite. Because, the running is a massive element of his game.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I agree.
Once he loses another step, how good is he going to be? I'm not sure.
And this most recent injury he's got now, where he's probably going to be out 2 or 3, maybe 4 weeks, depending on, if it turns out it is really severe or if he has some sort of setback during his recovery. That could be
Yeah.
this could be the start of a very slippery slope.
Exactly. So that's the other thing. I just don't think the runway with him is going to be nearly as long as all these other guys. So, all right, moving on. We will skip to talking about baseball for a second before the rest of the show is going to be NFL. But listen, the Sox won yesterday, 3-1 over the New York Yankees. I don't want to say any stats about what we have done in the past, 9, 10 games, because I'm not trying to jinx it. We have not won anything yet. But listen, when you had Crochet on the mound, you kind of feel like you had to win game one, and they did it. I thought this was a masterclass by Alex Cora. I thought he did an amazing job. Now, Garrett throwing a 7-pitch 7th inning did make the decision a lot easier to stick with Garrett in the 8th inning. But to make sure that you go all lefty, to keep Aaron Boone with Ben Rice on the bench, though if I was Boone, I would have had Rice hit for Austin Wells anyway in the 8th inning, because at that point you knew what was happening. You weren't going to see a right-hander, so you might as well just have Rice hit instead of Wells. That's neither here nor there. He saved Yoshi for the perfect spot as well. He had Whitlock and Chapman ready to go, but he made the correct decision once Garrett had at least got one out to go to Chapman. So I thought this was a masterclass by Cora tonight, and it was a must-win game for me for the Sox.
Oh, 1,000% must win.
Put it a little closer.
1,000% must-win game. Because as much as I like the way that Bayo kind of evolved during the season and seemed to have his command of his stuff got better, and I think his command of his emotions, you know, in the times where he get himself in a little bit of a jam or get knocked around a little bit. I feel like the last couple of years, it was really hard for him to kind of calm himself down and find his groove again. But we kind of saw that out of him this year, which I think was like a tremendous, tremendous sign, because now you really can go into these series and games against certain teams and go, we're definitely good here with our 1 and 2.
Yeah. And not using Whitlock last night means Whitlock is fully available to go multiple innings if you need him either for tonight's game or tomorrow's game.
Yep.
I don't love tonight's matchup because, once again, we have to face another tough lefty, and we're countering with a right-hander. And Bayo, good season. Very, very strong season. I thought some of the periphery numbers say he was, not quite as good as the final numbers were. I don't think he pitched quite as well at the very end. Listen, I don't think he's going to be bad tonight. I'm 50-50 on tonight. I really liked our chances last night. I'm not in love with the matchup tonight.
I need less than no analytics and maybe some periphery stats, but they got to be really pertinent. Just what do your eyes tell you?
No, I know.
What do your eyes tell you when you watch the games?
No, I agree. But the other thing is, the other thing that continues to do in the Yankees, and I've talked about this for a long time, is this team continues. They build this team caring about just the analytics, home runs. That's all that matters. And it's like, no. Like, the Sox put the ball in play, and it works.
Yeah, I feel
they
like
force the issue. They take the extra base. Yoshi comes off the bench, a very good contact hitter, laces one right back up the middle. The Yankees get the bases loaded. By the way, they got the bases loaded because Paul Goldschmidt leads off. Well, Goldschmidt hit 270. Goldschmidt puts the ball in play. And what happened once they got the bases loaded? Stanton doesn't put the ball in play. Chisholm strikes out a lot. Now, he flew out, but he strikes out a lot. And then the last guy, Grisham, strikes out a ton. And the playoffs are different. All these games are one-run games. So as the stat nerds try to tell you that regular season, 162, one-run games are random, but if all the games are one-run games, then you need to push the envelope, because one run a lot of the time is the difference. And that's what the Sox do, and the Yankees don't do it. And they haven't done it for 3 seasons now because they just want to get guys who hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Yeah, I feel like the last couple, probably 2-3 years, we've seen the Red Sox play a lot of stupid baseball.
Yeah.
Just lack of fundamentals, poor situational decisions, poor base running decisions, all that. But like that last series the Sox played in New York, I think they took, 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4?
No. The Yankees took 2 or 3 from us in the regular season, the last series.
Okay, so the series before.
But the rest of the season, we did was either sweep or win 2 out of 3.
Yes,
yeah.
So the series before the one that you had just mentioned.
Yes.
I didn't know. I hadn't realized that the Yankees were that stupid.
They were bad.
Talk about bad baseball and just no fundamentals at all. At all.
Yeah. they continue to not do that. Now, they tried to correct it with the third base situation, grabbing Ryan McMahon and Caballero, and that did help. But you can take the extra base on this outfield at any time you want. And again, they just do not put the ball in play. Their situational hitting is abysmal. So Anthony Volpe homers early last night. They never put pressure on Crochet again after that.
Like, the Yankees still try to buy championships, but
yes,
it's more just buying talent now. Where 20 years ago, when George was running the show, he bought championships, but he bought championships by buying baseball players.
Yes. It was a cohesive roster and an offense that could do more than one thing. I mean, after Goldie at the top, like, Judge even strikes out a lot, but his average is way higher. So I'm not going to say he's just a strikeout guy. He's not. But Stanton is, Grisham is, Austin Wells is. Chisholm strikes out a ridiculous amount of time. Like, half of this lineup is just so incapable of making contact when they need to.
Home run or strikeout.
That's all it is. It's feast or famine. And when you're in the playoffs, like, you're not facing mediocre pitching. Like, it's not allowed unless the game's already over. But, like, the Sox aren't going to mess around. They're going to go, Crochet, you're going 8 innings today, or as close as you can, and then we'll turn it over to Chapman. There's no, we're going the middle reliever here. Like, you're not going to get as many mistakes, which means the home runs are going to go down. And I know the Dodgers hit a ton of home runs, but they also hit for average. Like, Shohei hits over 300. Mookie's an over 300 hitter for most of his career. Freddie Freeman puts the ball in play all the time. Like, they are not a feast or famine team. They're just uberly talented, so they hit a lot of home runs. But it's not what they rely on.
So, speaking of home run or strikeout, anytime I used to watch a Sox game with my grandfather when I was a kid, he did this to me every single time. And he did it because he knew he would get like a, ooh, like Mr. Spacely reaction out of me.
Yeah.
Anytime Manny was up to bat and he had a 3-0 count, he'd go, hey, B. Did you know Manny never swings at a 3-0 count? And I'd be like, yes, I know that. You've only told me 10,000 times this season.
Yeah.
Man on second and third, 2 outs. Jaron Duran's up to bat. Gets up 3-0 in the count. Goes down on the next 3 pitches.
I know.
Are you kidding me?
I know.
That's not Major League Baseball right there.
In Duran's defense, though, like, you knew that was just a tough spot. Like, he does not hit left-handers well, and he particularly does not hit Fried well. That's why he was batting so low in the order.
But you know what? You got a 3-0 count there. Green light, dude. And that 4th pitch he served you was a beauty.
I know.
And then I think it was Story, the inning before, takes a 78-mile-an-hour curveball, whiffs. Takes a ball and then takes a 79-mile-an-hour curveball, whiffs, ends the inning.
Agreed. But I thought it was pretty obvious.
Oh, my God. I almost yeeted myself through the TV.
No, I get you. But I did think it was pretty obvious, especially from about the 3rd inning on when Crochet had settled down and you could tell that he was on. It became very much like, this is all about just getting Fried out of the game.
Yeah.
I do think you do have to take that into account a little bit. I do think once the home run happened and then you're like, all right, we might have to actually try and get after Fried. And then after the 3rd inning, they started to make Max work more because they're like, all right, it's just a solo homer. Garrett's back. He's fine. I mean, he set down, 17 in a row after the home run, I think?
I think so.
So I think
and that home run was kind of fluky,
I think at that point it became clear that the game plan was we're just going to make Max work, and then it's time to go when the bullpen comes in. And that's why the minute the bullpen came in, he went right to Yoshi. Very first pitch.
Like, one thing I worry with about Bayo, because obviously he's no Crochet, but nobody is. Like, that home run he gave up to Volpe last night, that was so fluky.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he strikes him out 98 times out of 100.
No, I know. I mean, he had a 0-2. He just
missed your spot a tiny bit, and it does not.
He didn't miss it a tiny bit. He missed completely on his location, which is why it happened.
But I mean, all it takes in that stadium is a flick.
Oh, yeah.
And that ball's over that wall.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's one thing I worry about with Bayo. Like, can he pick his spots so perfect that that's something maybe he can avoid?
The one good thing with Bayo when it comes to that ballpark is that if you are left-handed, he throws that 2-seamer. And in general, when you're getting that 2-seamer sinker, you're not really supposed to try and pull it because usually what you end up doing is just hitting over the top of it. So he'll keep the ball on the ground usually, as long as his two-seamer is working the way it should. That is the one good thing about Brian's matchup in that ballpark, is that as a left-handed hitter, well, as a righty too, but in general, you're not really supposed to try and pull that pitch. So if they do try and pull it, a lot of times they might just be beating it into the ground. Now, as a right-handed hitter, you stay on it, you flick it the opposite way. The same thing happens that you just said.
Right.
But we know they have a lot of left-handed bats.
Yeah.
So, you know.
The way that ball travels out in that right field is...
Well, it's just
that's like
short.
I know. It's like a wiffle ball field.
No, I know. It's a joke. But yeah. I'm 50-50. I'm touch and go tonight. But listen, at the end of the day, I like our chances to win the series because as long as the starting pitching can match what they do and keeps the games close, I trust our ability to manufacture runs far more than New York's has. And that's the way it's largely played out for the last couple of years when we have faced them in the playoffs. So I like our chances even if we don't win tonight.
So you think we get another duel tonight?
I do. I do think we get another duel tonight. I mean, Rodon has been money for the last, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, I think Brian... I mean, Bayo just comes in with a ton of confidence against the Yankees because he has always pitched well against New York. So, yeah, I think we get another duel tonight, which I'm all about.
Oh, God,
Because, like I said, we manufacture runs and they don't.
I was getting so mad at some of the swings the Sox were taking last night. I was just saying.
Fried was on, though. You got to give the man credit.
And I did. I texted one of my buddies last night, and I was like, you got to give it to Fried. He's got nasty stuff.
Yeah, everything was working. The curveball, the changeup, the fastball, every pitch in his arsenal was working last night.
He's a great ground ball pitcher.
Oh, he is. He is sensational.
It's like, I don't want to say shades of Maddox, but, that's what Maddox made a career off of.
Oh, yeah. I know. So... moving on to the other Boston team, the Patriots. You come off a 5-turnover performance against the Steelers, and you have a flawless performance against Carolina. Drake May seems like he has his coming out party. And what is it, 42 to whatever it was? I'm sure the Panthers scored a garbage
42
time.
42 to 13.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm sure the Panthers scored a garbage time touchdown. Which, by the way, Carolina, it's weird. It seems like they're either blowing a team out or they get destroyed this year so far.
Okay.
Bizarre.
So is it safe to say that, okay, so depending on how the Patriots look the next couple of weeks.
Well, I think this is the litmus test.
Like if the Patriots look like crap, let's say the next 2 or 3 weeks, then I will walk back my opinion that 30-0 win over Atlanta was fake.
Yeah.
That was a fake win.
Yes.
Completely
I mean, listen, it's the
fake.
NFL. It just happens. This weird stuff happens all the time.
and
It's just funny that the Panthers will either just get absolutely destroyed or then win a game 30-0.
What? You want to know what bugs me most about this Carolina game?
What?
And not to pull a Mike Felger, but I was happy they won. I was happy the offense was humming. I was happy they didn't turn the ball over at all.
Yeah.
But you still got to stop with the disgusting penalties.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Entirely too many procedural penalties. You know, just know your role, be disciplined.
Yeah.
Secondly, what really got to me was Carolina's absolute hot garbage. We all know that.
Yes.
Far from any semblance of a secret.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, they're not really world beaters either.
No.
Right now, you know?
No.
I'd still probably rather be a Steelers fan at this very moment than a Pats or a Panthers fan, obviously.
Well, I'd rather be a Pats fan just because, I know it's more than just this year.
But
I get your point.
What bugs me is, you look that good, largely in part because you didn't turn the ball over at all, never mind 5 times. Imagine what you could have done had you
taken care of the football against the Steelers.
Oh, my God. For no reason should Pittsburgh have only won that game by a touchdown.
No, I know. No,
and
it was
some
crazy.
of the play calling in that game, too, was atrocious. Why are you lined up in the shotgun on 4th and 1? What are you doing? What are you doing?
I know, it was Cliff Kingsbury-ish.
Seriously.
They just don't go under center. Kind of odd. I think this week's the litmus test because it's the Bills.
Yeah, I agree.
They run the division, but Buffalo's not as good this year as they've been in other years. Now, Josh in the offense is still really good, but the defense is not good. It's not good.
No, it's not.
I just spent time crapping on the Ravens D. The Bills is not that far behind it.
And the funny thing, too, is a lot of years, a lot of times.
You should be able to hang around in this game. I'm not saying they should win because I don't think they will. But, you shouldn't get curb stomped.
Yeah, and it's funny, too, because, like, a common trend that I feel has kind of become prevalent the last 2-3 seasons is at least, like, early in the season, first 4, 5, 6 weeks, we'll say. I feel like the last couple of seasons in that time frame, the defense is usually a little bit better than the offense. It kind of takes the offense time to catch up and find their groove, and that which I understand is entirely because of these BS offseason practice rules.
Yeah.
You know, so limited time that you get to practice, run certain kinds of practices, pads and all that.
Yeah, I was going to say pads, big part of it.
But that's not the case this year. Like, I feel like offenses don't have to catch up as much to the defenses that they're playing. And the thing that I mentioned off the top, off of something what you said, was I feel like it's very hard to glean things about teams right now watching these games. Like, we all know the Patriots should have beaten the Panthers. Not only beat them, but trounced them like they did. Right? Like, that Bengals-Vikings game a couple of weeks ago, what am I supposed to take from that game?
Well, nothing. There's nothing to take from that game.
Exactly, with 2 backup quarterbacks. But, like, what am I learning about these teams right now?
I mean, you're learning that Cincinnati is hot garbage without Joe Burrow.
But that's nothing we didn't already know.
No, I mean, it's really bad, though.
I know. Speaking of him.
Oh, well listen, we're getting there.
So, did you know that to this point in his career, he played the exact same number of games that Andrew Luck has?
I saw this stat.
And he's been sacked like 30 more times.
I did see that stat, yes.
If I am Joe Burrow, I am deeply considering I'll forfeit that guaranteed money. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Well,
you guys are going to get me killed.
We'll talk about that. That's going to be a segment in the show. I will say this. They came out the gate gangbusters and sort of blew Carolina out so early that, like, while everyone wants to say this is the Drake May coming out party, I'm still not there yet. Like, listen, I know.
have reservations
I've
to
never
say that.
denied that the guy had the talent to be an NFL quarterback. I know. I watched him at North Carolina. Big, strong, athletic, has it all. You know, a little reckless sometimes, the mechanics, the feet, you know, he can just be sloppy. He's raw. They only asked him to throw the ball 17 times, okay? He will be asked to throw the ball far more against Buffalo.
He will, but some of the throws that he made in this game,
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying.
those were big boy throws.
Yeah, exactly. But I've never denied that he had the talent. But
no,
it's easier for things to be clean when you're only asking them to throw the ball 17 times.
Right.
When they have to throw the ball 28, 29 times against Buffalo, which I'm sure they will, like, we'll see. We'll see how much of this stuff is out of his game yet and how much isn't.
But, so, like, obviously we know he's got the freakish athletic ability, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he's able to make every throw, physically speaking.
Yes.
But it's not just about knowing that you're physically capable of making the throw. It's as much about that as it is knowing how to make certain throws. Like that fade stop ball back shoulder that he threw to Diggs down
that
the
was
right
beautiful.
sideline.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
That's something Rodgers and Adams used to do.
Yeah, there was a beautiful understanding of what this throw needed to be.
All the time. Back foot.
Yes.
Diggs hadn't even stopped to turn around yet as that ball was coming out of his hand. That is a big boy throw.
Yes.
That's big boy understanding of timing.
Yeah, I do think he's getting better.
Scheming and, like, that's a big step for him.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Especially with a receiver like Diggs.
I agree. But, like,
Diggs
are we
knows
back,
how to run that route.
But is he good enough that we are back on we can win 9 games and make the playoffs track, or what? I'm not ready to go there yet. I'm not ready to go because there was so much optimism by most Pats fans coming into the season, and it was clearly very tapered until the Carolina game. I'm not ready to jump all the way back on the bandwagon yet. I gotta. This is to me is the litmus test.
Yeah.
Right. And I am not saying we're beating the Bills. That is not what this is about.
Look competitive.
But can you go, at least for most of the game, can May move the football and answer and go stride for stride with the Bills for most of the way? I do not expect you to win this game. I expect you to be competitive in this game, though.
Don't get trounced the way you did in the wild card round a few years ago.
Yes. This
should not
be the same old Buffalo, New England story that it has been the last 2-3 seasons, okay? If Drake May's there yet and we're ready to compete for the playoffs It can't look like it has the last 3 seasons. That's my point on this one.
2 questions on the Patriots for you. What do you think of the defense right now, and what is your early evaluation of one William Alligator Arms Campbell?
I think Campbell needs work, especially in pass protection. The defense...
Most rookie tackles need work, but for all the knocks on him coming out,
Yeah.
he's been pretty good.
I mean, I don't think he's been a disaster. I'm not calling him a whiff. I just think he needs some work in the pass protection, but I don't think he's been bad. Like, for all the people that were worried about him coming into the year, like, I'm not terribly worried, you know?
If Verdarian Lowe was playing left tackle through the first 4 weeks, Drake May might have broken... How many bones are in the body? 206?
Something like that.
He probably have
have they
broken
gone
103
against any
of them.
great pass rushers so far? I mean, I guess they did go against the Steelers and Watt.
Max Crosby.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. They struggled a little bit against the Raiders. But listen, that was the first game.
But you get your feet wet against Max Crosby. Come on.
I know. It's got to be easier the rest of the season after that. Which, by the way, did you see Crosby in the Bears game last week? I thought he was going to win that game for the Raiders all on his own.
He could have.
He was nuts.
He could have.
He almost did, but Gino, wanted to throw three turnovers again.
It's like watching the Pats against the Steelers.
I know, right? It wasn't all May, though. It was the whole team in that Steelers game. That was Gino on his own in that Raider game. 3 interceptions. Jesus Christ. All right. Moving on, guys. I'm sorry to break the news to you. All right. I was hoping that it was over also. All right. It didn't look good at the start of the year. The Chiefs are back in business. I'm sorry. They're getting Rashee Rice back in a couple of weeks. Xavier Worthy comes back. He soaks up, 10, 11 targets. Very productive. The Chargers lose both tackles now because Joe Alt went down. I don't know how long Alt is out, but if he's out for a while, they're
screwed.
They're not built, Harbaugh builds these teams to be a bully, run the football, and push guys up front. If you're missing both of your tackles, this is the NFL, man. Jim's a great coach, but you can't just overcome that.
No.
You can overcome it for a couple of weeks, but not a whole season.
Right. Or you
Chiefs-
can overcome, losing one.
Yeah, the Chiefs still have a solid defense. You can run on it, but still, it's a solid defense. They're not going to blow a lot of coverages. You get Worthy back. Kareem Hunt is at least helping things because it seems like Pacheco's lost a step. But you get Worthy back. Juju Rice is a decent 3 or 4. And then, like I said, Rashee Rice has to come back at some point. And the Chargers having that major injury again at the other tackle spot, I think the Chiefs are back in business. I laid some money on them to win the division the other night. It sucks. I hate it. And I'm not saying they're back in business they're going to win the Super Bowl. Maybe they can't. Though if the Ravens and the Bills are going to play defense like this, maybe they can.
If you have the coach and the quarterback, you're never not in contention.
Exactly.
We saw it for 20 years.
And, I thought the O-line was an issue because they're kind of playing a backup tackle. But it took a few weeks, but they've figured some of it out. And listen, Andy and Patrick are just going to design plays around it. If they're going up against great pass rushers, Brady and the Pats did this. I mean, the Joey Bosa Charger game? He's yelling at Tom, "Stop getting rid of the ball so quick!"
Stop rushing me so quick.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. All right, tunnel screens, runs, quick hitters, stuff like that.
Yep.
And I think the Chiefs are back in business. I wanted to say the dynasty was dead. It's not, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not, and they're not. I don't think the Chiefs will have the same 10-year lull that the Patriots did.
Maybe not. I don't know. It depends when Andy retires. Listen. I still think the dynasty is going to be over soon. I do, because if they win a bunch of games this year and they're once again picking at the end of these rounds, this is Travis's last year. Chris Jones doesn't have that much more left in the tank.
No, he doesn't.
They don't have the money to go pay a left tackle. Rashee Rice can't stay out of trouble. So I do still think it's coming to an end. But with the Chargers sustaining this injury with Joe Alt now, Casey's right back in the mix.
It's not come to an end yet.
It's not come to an end yet. Casey is right back in the mix right now.
And the Raiders are still going to be the Raiders.
Oh, they suck.
Take
Gino's awful.
You take Ashton Genty. What was it? 5th overall.
Yeah.
I looked at my TV and I went, "This is why you're the Raiders."
I know.
You can take the Raiders out of Yeah, something like that. You can take the
You
Raiders,
take the Raiders out of Oakland,
blah, blah,
but you can't take
blah.
the... Yeah, I get you.
Exactly.
Or you can take the Oakland out of the Raiders, but you can't.
Yes. Yeah, something like that. Strike that, reverse that.
But anyway.
Like, and the Broncos, they're fine. I like Sean Payton, but I think he's largely propping Bo Nix up.
Oh, I agree. I was never a huge Bo Nix fan coming out of the draft.
Like, and their offense is functional. It looks good.
They're good.
But
They're good.
that's it.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. That's what it comes down to.
Like, last year was an aberration.
And unlike all these other teams, right, who can go out and spend a ton of money with the rookie quarterback deal, they can't because Russell Wilson's cap hit. They still have the biggest cap hit in the league. Browns have the biggest one with Deshaun Watson. They still have the second biggest cap hit, dead money in the league.
Is that the worst trade ever? Deshaun Watson.
Oh, yeah, easily. That's the worst trade in NFL history. There's no doubt about it. Dude, you traded what? How many first-round picks? Gave him a fully guaranteed contract, and he completely forgot how to play.
I think 3 or 4.
He showed up at your franchise and became the worst starting quarterback in the NFL.
Not only did he forget how to play, he turned into a complete and total pervert weirdo.
Well, I mean, he was that before you traded for him, but
Well,
yes.
we found out that he was a complete and total pervert weirdo.
That came with him already in the trade. But,
Goodness.
all right, we are going to take a very quick break. When we come back, we're going to touch on those Cincinnati Bengals, and then we're going to play a little game of the panic meter with 3 teams, so stick with us, guys. And we are back here at Slo Ur Roll. Moving on. We touched on this for a second. I told you we'll have a whole segment, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I'm sorry, Bengals fans, that this is a lost season, but I will give you this. There is some silver lining in this. If it was going to be a lost season, you would rather it be Joe Burrow got hurt as early as he did instead of halfway through the season like some of the other years he's gotten hurt. Because now you have a rare chance. Now, no matter how bad the team is, if your quarterback's Joe Burrow, you're going to win some games, so it's going to be hard to have a top pick. Here's what I would do, and here's what they should do. You're going to be bad this year. You should have a top 5 pick because this defense is atrocious. The offensive line sucks, and you're on your backup quarterback. You're going to have a top pick. You can trade that because you're not taking a quarterback, and now you finally have been gifted a bunch of extra picks. I would use multiple picks on offensive and defensive linemen. You could also, this was what I would do, I would trade T. Higgins during this season to also get and acquire more picks. So you can just rebuild the lines on this team, and maybe you can try and find a pass rusher or some guys in the secondary. But, like, you need a big overhaul, and we know that your owner is cheap. And obviously you already gave Joe and Chase the money, so you don't have a ton of money anyway to go sign guys. This is a rare opportunity that you're never going to have it. Well, I don't want to say never, but when you have a superstar quarterback, you usually do not have. This is why the KC dynasty, like I said, is going to end at some point, even though Patrick's still on the team. Just because you eventually, like when you're picking at the end all the time, you're not getting enough guys that are good enough to replace what you're going to lose after these couple of years. So this is a very rare opportunity for the Bengals. Will they do the correct thing and do it? Probably not. Because this is what this franchise does. This is why I called it a joke franchise. You paid Chase and Higgins, which is ridiculous. This isn't a video game.
And
you're building a team like this is a fantasy football team. And not only did you sign both of them, but because your owner is cheap, you don't give them a lot of guarantees or any signing bonus money, which means they're a full cap hit for the entire contract throughout their time. So you have no wiggle room. So this is a rare opportunity, Cincinnati. Don't blow it, because if you do, Joe and his agent and representation should be trying to force their way out of Cincinnati. It could get real ugly real quick. So you got to meet with Joe. You got to get this under wraps right now and figure out how you need to build this team going forward, because you have a rare opportunity that you will probably not get again for a while.
And not to mention, think about all the rumors that were floating around about all the teams that were interested in trying to trade for Trey Hendrickson.
Oh, I know.
The haul that you could have potentially gotten for him before the year. And then you give him that 1-year deal with all that guaranteed money.
I will defend the Hendricks one, actually, because I think he accounted for 45% of their sacks last year. And as long as you had Joe, you thought you were going to be good enough to contend.
Yeah, no, he did. And I agree with that rationale. But like,
they just needed to sign him way earlier. And you probably shouldn't have paid T. Higgins. You don't need 2 wide receivers like this. You don't. Like the Chiefs let Tyreek Hill walk and won 2 Super Bowls afterwards.
Yep.
You need a better left tackle. You need a better offensive line, and you need a defense that isn't a sieve.
Yeah,
And you can't have one guy accounting for 40% of your sacks.
I swear, their owner is a bunch of gerbils.
Well, Mike Brown is just cheap.
In a human body suit.
He's just old, and he's cheap, and he's stubborn.
I mean, but God,
and he will not change. He
even
wants to run this franchise like it's still the 70s, and they don't have a gazillion amount of dollars.
I mean, even Dean Spano shelled out the money for Herbert's contract and Harbaugh's contract, and we never thought that he would do that.
I know, but Mike Brown just will not evolve. He won't do it.
I don't know.
Even though it's all fake money.
I know.
Like they make so much money.
How many times have I said on this show
like in baseball,
that it's fake money?
I don't even mean that. You have to know how to manipulate the cap. But what I'm saying is like the Kansas City Royals don't make a ton of income. I get that. The NFL, with the revenue sharing and how big the league is, it doesn't matter if you're the Cincinnati Bengals or the Los Angeles Rams or the New England Patriots. Like, you're going to make, or the Dallas Cowboys, which is the richest franchise, the amount of money that you are allowed to spend on players is a tiny fraction of what your income is now because of how big the league is.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Mike Brown could make no money with the Bengals, no individual, just his own. He could just get the revenue sharing money from the TV and be able to pay his roster.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. It's a fraction of the cost of how much money that you bring in now as an NFL franchise.
I don't know if I've ever
And
been
it's completely independent of the team.
I don't think I've ever been so quick to call a team with a quarterback as talented as Joe Burrow a poverty franchise. But that's really what they are.
He
That's how they
runs it
operate.
like a poverty franchise. Yeah, that's how they run it. They run it like this is still the 70s.
Like, you're paying a legit number one, and you're paying a guy who thinks he's a legit number one, probably isn't, has the talent, don't know if he has the head for it.
But you refuse to just give him a bunch of cash up front to lower the cap.
Refuse
You're
to
like,
pay
oh,
a
we
real
really
tackle.
gotta make this a payment plan. Like, why?
Jesus. Like,
why?
Does he just look at years like last year and go, well, we had the start that we had, and still by some divine miracle, in the 11th hour, week 17, we still had a snowball's chance.
I know.
Like, is he one of those guys?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's just, we were competitive and I made money. So I'll just keep it going the way it is.
It's like the owner version of Marvin Lewis.
I know, seriously. But no, there are...
Settle for nothing but...
They really are.
Mediocrity and
They are a horrendously run franchise that has been able to luck into some very talented quarterbacks. Carson Palmer and now Joe Burrow. But Mike Brown is an embarrassment.
Yeah.
They run that like an embarrassment.
If I'm Joe Burrow, I say, go ahead. Light my contract on fire.
I know.
I want to get out of here.
Still maybe my best take ever after they got to that Super Bowl and lost.
That they won't go back.
Yeah, everyone was like, it's no big deal. Like, he'll get another chance. And I was like, are you sure about that?
Okay.
I was like, I kind of don't think he's ever going to get back.
No matter
At least
how
not with the Bengals.
talented Burrow is, no matter how many times I've wanted to call him Baby Brady, like, think about all the teams, all the great teams. Now, granted, most of them were like single season great. The Atlanta Falcons, namely speaking. But like all of these great teams, they go on a 2, 3, 4 year run, or they have a great individual season. They go to a Super Bowl and lose. They almost never make it back. And if they do, it's not for 10, 12 years.
I know.
Sometimes.
I know. And this is not a well-run franchise. So, yeah, no. Everyone just thought it was no big deal. I was like, I'm not banking on them ever getting back to another one because
they're a dumpster fire.
Because the legacy of that team is underachieving and cheap ownership, and you're seeing it. It's getting Joe killed.
I think
Will they fire Zach Taylor? Do you think they will?
No.
Or do you think it'll be again?
No, because I think Brown's comfortable with him.
I think. Well, also Mike Brown doesn't want to pay buyout.
Pay a real head coach.
Well, he doesn't want to pay the buyout also.
Well, that too.
Yeah. And he can once again be like, well,
with
all
all
of
that money that you can, all of that money that you can basically just print.
I know. And again, Mike Brown can just say to himself, like, well, Joe Burrow got hurt 3 weeks in. It's not Zach Taylor's fault. What do you want him to do?
I know. Now this is kind of like the situation in New York with Dable. Like Jackson Dart won a game and didn't look like a complete rockhead, even though I think he's a complete and total rockhead with his war paint. Goddamn Anakin Skywalker wannabe, he is. And
they needed,
oh my
listen,
God, I can't stand
I will say
him and Cam Scatterbo. If I saw those guys on the street, I'm just freedom rockets. You guys are just the biggest tool bags in football right now.
The Giants needed that, though. They needed a shot of energy.
They did need that. You know who needed this more than anything was Brian Daboll.
Oh, no, Daboll definitely needed it.
Because now Dart didn't look like a complete buffoon, and Neighbors is done for the year now. Like, what do you want me to do?
I'm gonna tell you,
Jackson Dart looks not terrible.
I'm gonna tell you something right now, though.
Neighbors is done.
I'm gonna tell you something right now, though. They're losing to the Saints this week. I'm serious. The Saints have shown a pulse. The Giants celebrated like they'd won the Super Bowl. Now they got to go on the road. There is film on Dart now, so you have at least an idea of what what they want to do.
Did the Saints show a pulse, or did Buffalo play down to their competition? Because Buffalo has a bad habit.
The Saints only got blown out by one team. They've been in actually most of their games. Okay. As bad as they can look. Okay. Like, I listen.
No,
they might not win another game all year.
I believe you.
But
I'm
Giants
just playing devil's
like
advocate here.
Giants celebrated like they won the Super Bowl, right? Now you got to go on the road right after that, and you at least have some film on Dart now. So you're like, all right, this is what they want to do with him.
That was a bad look after that game the other day. Daboll practically making out with Jackson Dart.
Yeah, he's like, oh my God, I think you just saved my job. We'll see. But yeah. And I'm not trying to shit on Jackson Dart. He might be good. I don't know. I can smell this one coming from a mile away.
I'm crapping on him a little bit.
And New Orleans might not win another game all year, but if they're going to win a game,
it's this one.
It's this one. It's this one. I'm telling you. So just so you know, if they lose, just know that I'm going down with the ship on this one. Lost a lot of money, but I can just see it. I can see it coming.
You are no stranger to going down with that NOLA dinghy.
I know. All right. Let's finish this up with a game of the panic meter. Brian, I'll actually let you start a little bit on this one.
Okay.
So 1 to 10, I'm starting with the Baltimore Ravens. Where are you putting this on the panic meter? 1, not concerned at all. 10, the alarm bells, evacuate the building. Yeah.
Right now, I'm going to say a solid 7, just because, okay, so for all the reasons that we mentioned about Lamar earlier, right? And then everything that I said about Harbaugh. Now, pair those two biggest points with the fact that Jackson's going to be out at least 3 weeks. Oh, and you had 3 other injuries to crucial starting players of your 53-man roster.
Mm-hmm. And the defense has not played well.
Right. Not only that, the defense looks like a block of Swiss cheese. Think of a couple of years ago when we really thought that if there was 1 year to get the Chiefs, it was that year. Buffalo looked insane. I think it was, but was that Todd Monken's first year?
Yeah.
In Baltimore?
Yes.
They looked a little shaky the first couple of weeks, but once they really got in a rhythm, they were humming. We all thought that was the year.
Yes. Yeah, it feels like the Ravens missed the boat.
They drew Casey at home and didn't show up.
Yes. It felt like they missed the boat.
Didn't even look ready to play.
I know. It felt like the Ravens missed their boat.
And that was probably one of the, if not 2 most talented rosters that Jackson's been on. And I would say as far as like an offensive scheme and playbook standpoint, that was the most functional Baltimore's offense has looked since they drafted Lamar.
Yes. I would say multi-layered. When you say functional, it makes it sound like they weren't very good.
Yes.
I would say layered.
Yes.
Multi-dimensional and layered, their offenses ever looked.
That is the perfect way to put it.
Yeah, I think they missed the boat that year. Yeah, now they have a bottom-ranked defense so far this year with a bunch of guys that are even out for the season. Lamar, as we've said, he usually has always been gifted a top defense. In big games, when you ask him to do more, I don't know what it is. It's almost like he gets anxious, tries to press. He turns the football over more. He's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks right now. Their saving grace is that the Bengals lost their quarterback for the season.
Right.
And so your best competition is the Steelers.
So
you might still win the division. But
Yeah.
I would put this as a 6 or 7, as you did.
And as much as I would say, I'm willing to trust in Harbaugh's ability, because I think, what would you say? Top 6 coach in the league?
Yeah, definitely.
That's as much by his own merit, I believe, as it is because the rest of the coaching in the league sucks.
Yeah.
Eggs. It's terrible. It's garbage.
Yeah. No, I get you.
So pair all of that, right? What kind of hole are they going to fall into now for the next at least 3 weeks? So let's just say while Jackson's out.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think they're losing to the Texans this week. They're playing a backup quarterback, and they don't have a good defense. Like, I do think, and Houston's desperate. Houston has to win. So, like, are you going to fall to 1-5?
Like, talk about spot betting?
Yeah.
Oh, what a spot to take Houston.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, the number's kind of gone because before Lamar was completely out, I think the Texans were the slight dog. Now they're the favorite. But, no, it's a great spot. Next one. On the panic meter, the Minnesota Vikings. 9 out of 10. Not just because of this season, but you let Sam Darnold walk. He looks just fine in Seattle since. I believe he's now tied with Mahomes over the last season and this run of games for most come-from-behind drives, comeback drive wins.
I saw the stat the other day.
Yeah.
I think he might actually have him beat.
Yeah, he might.
Like he's thrown more yards,
Your
he's thrown more
quarterback,
touchdowns.
while obviously you have to be patient, he was the 5th quarterback taken. He played in a system where he didn't have to do a ton. And let's be honest, he's played 7 quarters. And apart from the 1 fourth quarter, he's actually not just looked bad. He's looked like the worst quarterback in football. Like he has looked kind of small. He's looked completely overwhelmed. And you let Sam and his 35 touchdowns just walk out the building.
Yeah, that's a big investment that they made for a sidecar quarterback.
Like at this point, you're trapped.
And if there's any
Because you're in a win now mode, and Carson Wentz isn't the future. But Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than JJ McCarthy at this point. Like I don't even think that's debatable. And you're trying to win this year. So if McCarthy's back in 3 to 4 weeks, what are you doing? Now, obviously, if Carson doesn't win another start, you'll probably go with JJ.
I would still go back to. I still go back.
Are you sure? What if you have a winning record when
think so.
JJ comes back, and you're in a playoff spot? How do you sell that to
tough.
Justin Jefferson?
That's tough.
And Jordan Addison. How does Flores sell that to the defense?
Yeah,
They're in a bad spot.
I know.
A really bad spot. I'm 9 out of 10 on this one. JJ looks overwhelmed. You don't have an answer in-house again like you did with Sam, even though Carson Wentz can get you through some games.
So I will go. You're a 9. I'll go 8.
Okay.
And the only reason I'm gonna go 8 instead of being in agreement with you is just look at the records that KOC has produced with backup quarterbacks.
That's true, but I'm not making this just about this year. I'm talking about just in general the spot now for the next 2 or 3 seasons. I mean, you're going to go get another guy you're just going to go have to get another veteran and just hope that he can take off with this roster and this coach? Is that what you're going to do? You go trade for Kyler Murray in the offseason? What are the options, man? You get trade up to try and take another quarterback? You're just going to roll with JJ? It's just, they're in a bad spot.
Yeah, it
man.
is.
It's a bad spot. All right. Final one. On the panic meter, the San Francisco 49ers. I was going to do it higher, but I will go a 5. Now, it seems every week someone's going down with an injury. I mean, they should expand that tent. They got to make that half the length of the sideline.
I was literally
get a
just
corporate
gonna say half
sponsor.
the
I don't know. Every week somebody's going down. They're just old and brittle and injury prone.
Just putting urgent care in every home and visitor tunnel coming off the field.
Yeah, they should, because they just get injured
For when Sanford
all the time.
comes
Kittle's
down.
nowhere to be found. Trent Williams, I believe, got banged up. Brock Purdy didn't even look like he should have played last week, but Mac was hurt too, so they were just I guess Brock's the better option now, even though he probably shouldn't have played. He didn't look right. They got a lot of injuries. The only reason I'm going only 5 is because they've at least somehow managed to still have a 3-1 record. Is it 3-1? I think they're 3-1 coming to this game.
Well, see,
right?
that's kind of the way I feel.
And they have a bad. They have a very easy schedule.
So that's the way
they
I
got
feel.
They got a gift of a schedule. So that's why I'm only going 5 out of 10. But like, it is a problem.
That's how I feel about Minnesota, but only for this season.
Yeah, but the difference is with Minnesota is they got the Packers and the Lions in their division.
You know, it's that division's a slaughterhouse right now.
And the Vikings. I mean, they won like 13 games last year, so their schedule is a lot harder than the Niners.
Yeah.
The Niners, I think, got ranked the 2nd or 3rd easiest schedule in the league coming into this season.
Bills got the 5th easiest.
Did they really? Interesting. I didn't realize that.
Yep.
But so that's why I'm only going 5 out of 10. But I mean, going forward too. I mean, they're gonna have to figure something out. They might have to trade somebody in the offseason and get extra picks because they need to retool a lot of this roster because it is old and brittle.
Yeah, they do. And you're still paying a lot of money to.
Where would you go with the rank? 1 to 10.
I think I'd go 6.5.
Okay. 6.5.
And a lot of it is, again, for the financials, because you know you're paying. You just gave Brock Purdy an insane contract. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be paying Trent Williams for a little bit. You're still gonna be paying Kittle for a little bit. You're still gonna be paying Ayuk for a little bit. Like that's
Ayuk's just nowhere to be found.
Exactly. You know. Gave him the bag.
Yeah.
Where the hell is he? He's on the side of a milk carton somewhere.
I think that took all of about 3 weeks for them to realize that they made the wrong call on that one. They should have moved him.
Talk about a team.
You can't pay everybody, man.
I know.
You
Talk about a team. Well, Philly does. Talk about a team that missed its
Even
window.
Philly doesn't. Who's the the older pass rusher they moved off of?
Reddick?
Yeah, they moved off Reddick, and didn't they move off Mason Graham a couple of years ago too?
Well, they let him walk after the Patriots Super Bowl.
Yeah, okay,
and then they re-signed him for that run last year.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Then he announced his retirement.
Yes, yeah. They did let one other pass rusher go, though. They don't pay everyone.
They pay a lot of guys.
I don't know. I don't think they paid Devontae Smith, really. I mean, they gave him a contract, but they didn't go crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Niners
Hurts, Saquon.
Yeah.
Think about the guys on the line that you're going to be paying in the next couple of years.
Oh, I know.
Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter.
Oh, I know. They're going to have to move off one of them. One of them's going to have to. They'll move. I don't know who it's going to be. My guess.
Or do you think they move off of another position?
No, because they're not paying a ton on anyone else on that defense now.
I mean, Cooper DeJean's probably going to want a bag.
Yeah, but they have 2 corners, so they're going to move off DeJean or Quinyon Mitchell when that comes up. They're not going to pay both of them. But this is like you can't pay everyone. San Francisco just kind of fell in love with their own guys. But the schedule's easy. I'm only going 5 out of 10.
I do remember a really stuffy, grumpy old man who grunted and snorted all at once, saying, "We all know the salary cap can be maneuvered in a number of different ways."
It can. Which is why you can pay quite a few people. But at the end of the day, eventually the tab does come. You can't pay 5, 6 guys big money. You can pay 4.
Forever.
But anyway,
escape that
all
forever.
right. So Brian, it was great having you back on again.
Pleasure to be back.
I'm sure you will be back in a few weeks. That has been it for Slo Ur Roll this week. Have a great rest of your week, ladies and gentlemen.
Maybe I'll be back
and
next
go Red
week.
Sox.
Bitches, you don't know.
Maybe, if you want. Go Red Sox.